Hey guys, happy Wednesday. Hope you're doing well. Excited to see several of you later tonight on Zoom for our online connect groups. So we'll start at 7. We hope you can join us and we look forward to seeing your faces. But before that, we're going to wrap up the book of Amos before we move on to our next minor prophet and looking at Amos chapters 8 and 9, in which we see both the destruction and the restoration of Israel. So all throughout the book of Amos, we see God foretelling judgment through Amos toward the Israelites for their corruption and their greed, their exploitation of the poor, injustice essentially. And he, being a just God, is going to bring about justice. But in chapter 9, starting in verse 11, we also see a glimmer of hope and a promise of future restoration. And thinking about the idea of restoration is an idea that is, I think, central to the heart of God, and that we see all throughout Scripture of God loving to restore his people and bring them back to himself for their good and his glory. So in Amos, in the last few verses, he says, "In that day I will raise up the booth of David that is fallen, and repair its breaches, and raise up its ruins, and rebuild it as in the days of old, that they may possess the remnant of Edom, and all the nations who were called by my name, declares the Lord who does this." And so when I read this passage for the first time, I thought, what is the booth of David? And so I looked it up, and basically it's his booth, or some translations say tent, is referring to the house of David or his family and his descendants that would come after him. And then also it says the remnant of Edom, which are Jews, and all the nations, meaning all the nations surrounding Israel, aka the Gentiles, which includes you and me. So in this passage, God is basically saying that he will restore his people, the descendants of David, and a remnant of Jews and Gentiles to be called by his name and be part of his family. And how does he do this? Through Jesus, who himself is a descendant of David. So God sends Jesus, his son, to live a perfect life and to die on our behalf, that we might be restored to God and brought back into his family and called by his name. So I don't know about you, but that's super encouraging to me in my heart to see God, through the prophet Amos, foretelling the way that he would restore his people in the future. And that prophecy is fulfilled in the life and death and resurrection of Jesus, even here in this minor prophet in the Old Testament. So I hope that's encouraging to you too, and excited to start our next minor prophet tonight and talk about that a little bit more. We'll hear from Leah and get to discuss it. So we hope to see you then, and we love you guys. Bye.